Hey guys, it's Julie from Plan to Create, and I wanted to introduce you guys to a new insert that I am bringing to my shop, as well as to kind of explain how I've been using it and how I'm already switching things up for next week. I have been using a horizontal insert the last couple of months, so I'm shaking things up and trying something new in July, and so I'm just kind of going to share with you the process that I go through as I figure out how to use a different insert, how to get all the things that I want to have on my pages there, because it's all in a different format. So let's kind of walk through how I've divided this week, and then I'll explain what I'll do differently next week. So from the top, you'll see these big dots. I used my Zig Clean marker, and I just added 2 dots each day because I have a nice large Stanley cup, and if I can drink 2 of those every day, I feel pretty good about myself. This is a visual reminder, and it's there for me when I need it. You can see I did not check off yesterday's, so I am not religious about this, but I am just like, oh yeah, sometimes I'm just sitting here at my desk, I glance, I see that, I take a swig of water. That's how that works for me. Next up, you'll see I used a nice thick washi tape. Okay, I don't need my like. Next up, I used a nice thick washi tape. If you feel like you need more space here and that that's not enough, then obviously like a thin line that you can draw or a smaller washi would be fine. But I chose a big thick one because I want to kind of soak up some of this space. I know that I'm not going to use every spare inch, and so I kind of have that wiggle room to play with that. I can use a big dramatic thing here, and it's not going to cost me like practical using space. So next up, I just came through and drew a simple little line here. You can see that I got my numbering off here when I switched to the next page. Super annoying, but I just left it because whatever, move on. This space is being held for my workouts. So sometimes I write out my workout plan for the week. Sometimes I just do it after the fact, but I always try to give myself like a little check mark, gold star, if indeed I actually complete my workout. I think I used N65 Tombow, and so that's a nice dark bold gray, and that is what I used to create these sections. And this section here is my events section, so anything that's time specific or anything that I want to block time off for throughout my day, that is where I will note it. And you can see that that schedule's light, and so that just doesn't require as much space. So I purposely keep that pretty small. I could extend this if I needed more space in a certain week, if I know I have a ton of things going on, or if I wanted to track my time more carefully, I could obviously extend this, maybe shrink this. I'm trying to show that this is super flexible, like you can, expand and shrink as needed for your particular schedule. Next up, we just have this area where I wanted to have day-specific tasks to check off. So if there's something that I need to do on Wednesday, like for instance, I do not have our sprinklers running on Wednesday morning so that I can fertilize my flowers outside. So I have to do that Wednesday morning. If I don't do it, my flowers would not get water, and it's like 900 degrees out here right now, so they really need me to do that. So I feel like there's certain specific things that I need to get done on certain days, and this is the space for that. I'm gonna get ahead of myself, but I can definitely shrink this space. So I'm kind of thinking in terms of that next week, like obviously I don't need this much space. So I'm gonna shuffle things around because this is how I learn as I go. Last up here, you'll see I just stamped in my little meal plan stamp. I like to include that. It's a cute little visual break, something circular in all these lines. So that's kind of what I've done. And then on my sidebar, this is just fluid. I love having like stickers here. Some of them have great purpose and some of them don't. I've included this little sticky note here, and I would like to think of a different way to do this, but my husband and I order Green Chef meals periodically. So this is just a little prompt for me to remember to deal with that, to make sure we've picked next week's meals or we've skipped them. Like if you do meal delivery, you kind of know that you have to stay on top of it, otherwise you're going to get a random box of food that you're like not going to be able to eat. So that's my way of staying on top of it. I've added the focus of my week up here on this sticker, so if you've seen previous videos, I do try to have like a different focus for the week, and I'm releasing these inserts here on the 14th. Therefore, I've been using my office hours and spare time kind of focused on Etsy for this week. I don't know if you guys know this, but my dad had a PhD in biochemistry, and my mom, she had a master's in education, but she's a creative. She sewed a lot, without patterns, made her own clothing designs, and she watercolored. So I feel like that might explain a little bit of who I am and why I like a little deco and a little function. Kind of, I'm a product of my environment. Okay, so let's kind of walk through what I've done here, and then I'll also just explain, like, this area is open. It's ready for whatever I want it to be that week. I'm not really going to determine this ahead. And even with decoration, now that I've moved my incoming list up here, I feel free to maybe do some deco down here in this corner. It will balance out that sidebar nicely. But something else I've learned is that I don't like to get too far ahead on that. I like to do a little bit of fussing around the week of, because that again draws me back to these pages. If I set everything up and everything's in perfect place, then I'm kind of done. Like, I don't want to come back to these. So I kind of have to leave a little bit of wiggle room. It's a fine little dance I do, enough to kind of get myself started and get the ball in motion, but not too much, because then I'm just like, uninterested. There's nothing fun to do in here this week. But for the most part, this is the structure that I want to face when I face this week, and I am not going to plan the following week until I've walked through this week to see if it works. But you'll see I still have the room up top for my hydration. So I'll add a couple little dots there. They're never the same size. Oh my gosh. But it's okay. And I'm doing that so fast because I'm on video. I could be more careful and make sure that those are more uniform. But again, they're just a little visual reminder for me. No biggie. This spot is saved then for my workouts for the week. This spot is saved for time-specific events. This one, I am transferring over some of these tasks that are day specific. And I wanted to mention that I'm using an app called Things 3, where I have plugged a lot of these in, and I just ask them to repeat every Tuesday, every Wednesday. So they are awesome. I get to check it off on my phone, but I do like to transfer some of it here too. But it's kind of nice, like I don't feel like I have to have that written down each time, but I am saving some space for it. If I felt like, oh man, I need more space just for my day-to-day events, this would be something that I would take off my day-specific task list area, because it's kind of repetitive, but it's kind of satisfying to write it down and check it. I'm just being honest. It's not necessity, but it's fun. Next up, we have my meal plan section. Now I have all my categorized lists to jot things down. Again, I've mentioned these trigger. These help me remind me, like, oh yeah, I do have to run over to that store, you know, or I do need to go pick that up. Seeing errands on my page does help trigger that. And then again, we have all this space down here. This could be used to journal each day. This could be used to jot down gratitudes. This could be used to work out a script that I want to share for a video here on YouTube. I love having this space, and I love that the work that I do here is like associated with this time frame, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, you don't have to pay attention to it. It could also be a solid mass of stickers down here if I feel like it. So I'm enjoying that flexibility so far. All right, I feel like that kind of gets me roughly started for the following week. And it's perfect timing that my catch-up week is also my travel week, so that just gives me a big breath of like, you know, I'm not like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be filming this week and I'm gonna be out of town. That doesn't work. That could happen. I'm not gonna say I'm so organized that it would never happen, but I was happy to see that coincide this week. So I just wanted to bring you guys along and kind of show you how I work out some issues as I use a new insert. I want you to understand that I don't jump into every system and be like, I got it all dialed in, but there's just a few things that I know I can carry from system to system that are consistent, and however I can squeeze them in, I do. Once you kind of understand the things that you need to see on your planner pages, then those are things that you figure out a way to find a home for them, you figure out a way to work them in. I do feel like I can easily get into a little rut of like, okay, my hydration, my meals, but then there's also like a little bit of digging that needs to happen each week. Like, are these things reflecting, you know, my goals of what I really want to be doing? I have a workbook that I really need to be starting to work through. I purchased it and I haven't started it. So I was thinking the other day, like, I really need to add that here on my page. So maybe that will pop up on the, you know, the day-to-day specific task list. Is like, I've spent some time working through some content that I want to learn from. It's this, again, this delicate balance of like, hey, here's what's always worked for me in my planner, so here's what I'll include, and then just kind of some time and thought thinking like, what else should I be including? What else do I need to be incorporating into my life? And these pages are so far working for me as a place where I can do that. All right, if you guys are interested, I will link these inserts below, but also you can do this same concept on any page. So always know that yes, I love to create these and I love to test them out for myself, but obviously, you know, there's no one insert that's gonna work for everyone, and there's no one answer to all your planner problems. It's just kind of like, how do you make things work in whatever system you are using? And I encourage you to do that. All right, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Take care, bye-bye.